Okay, everybody, here's a little update on what I'm going to get myself into today. One thing is I'm going to measure each one of these and write with the Sharpie what the measurements are so that when I get the styrofoam, it'll be quicker. I won't have to stop at that point. I can just cut, place, cut, place, cut, place. Another thing I'm looking at is it's just a little bit of surface rust. It's not anything crazy. It is a brand new trailer. So I'm just going to wire brush it a little bit, vacuum it out, and then spray some Rust-Oleum down in there, protecting the floor because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to leave this floor. More on that later. I will say I am pretty pleased about what I see underneath the plywood when I took it off. It is indeed 16 on center, which is good. This I feel like is a plus. I don't know why they did that, but I'm glad they did, just for some more structure. There's no real gaps, a little tiny bit, a little bit of, so I think I'm gonna silicone. I will say, I think they did a really good job of housing and controlling the wires. A couple of things I would say on the wires though, is they literally just poked through and left the shards and the sharpness and shoved the wires through. So I'm assuming at some point those wires will get destroyed. And so I think that I will, if nothing else, electrical tape or something really secure or protect those wires. I think everything's all right. And so I'm going to seal, measure, and then play around with my layout a little bit and see what I'm going to do there. So stay tuned. If you've ever done any type of build like this, you'll know, of course, that you have to measure everything because none of it's exact. The measurements are always a little bit different in every area. So that's why I want to measure everyone and not just assume that they're the exact same height. Like this is a little bit, let's see, 78 and a half. I think this one, yeah, that's 79. So, okay. I'll go ahead and go with 79 and I can cut a little bit off if I have to. I got to get this caulking off of here. It's coming off really well. I do know if you can't get it off like this, you can use a heat gun and heat it up a little bit, and that will get that off. Okay, so I'm just going to put some protective paint on there. It says it stops rust, and I wiped it off. It's pretty surface, so as I suspected. So I think this will be really cut and dry, nice and easy. Good deal. All right, I like how this is going to work. So I'm not sure why I didn't think about this from the very beginning, but as I was spraying down low where there's surface rust, I realized none of the framing is actually sprayed with anything. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it all with this paint. I'm going to need some more paint for sure, but I want to prevent rust everywhere, not just down low. So a little more work to do, a little more cost, but in the long run, that is going to be the very best thing I can do for the quality and the longevity of the trailer. That's the way it goes. It's actually kind of, I don't know, funny for lack of a better word, that they painted here and up here because you can see that when you look at the trailer. But then they stopped at the point where you can't see anymore. So if I had not taken the walls off, I wouldn't have known that this metal actually was not treated or sprayed. So I'm assuming the backside of it isn't sprayed. Not really anything I can do about that, but I do feel good about at least hitting this with at least one coat of Rust-Oleum to help mitigate rust issues. Not going to be perfect, but it's better than nothing. Well, one side done. I may end up putting another coat on. I'm not sure. That's kind of an expense I wasn't counting on, but that's just how it goes whenever you're doing a project like this. So that took one can. So I suppose it's not uncommon for it to be like this, but I find it a little bit shady that Interstate Trailers only does what they have to do to make it look nice, thinking that you're not going to see the rest, I guess. So just why would you leave such jagged edges like that? That's crazy. And they only painted the parts of the steel that you can see. But I am glad to see that there's only like not even 15 inches in between each one of these steel framework. So I'm glad about that. But anyway, so stay tuned.